seems no one cares about debt anymore. Yesterday, in their dueling campaign launches, both sides promised $10 billion to get young Australians into their first home. Young Australians like Peter Dutton's son Harry, a carpenter, who was on the campaign trail with his dad today.
I am saving up for a house, and so is my sister Beck and a lot of my mates, but as you've probably heard, it's almost impossible to get in the current state. So, I mean, we're saving like mad, but it doesn't look like we'll get there in the near future, but we'd love that to change.
Joining me is Leith Van Onselen, co-founder of Macro Business, a fantastic blog that they run, and a former Federal Treasury official. Leith, first of all, can you tell us why we do have a housing crisis in the first place?
Oh, yeah, pretty simple, Andrew. Australia's got a housing crisis because its home prices are among the most expensive in the world relative to income. We have some of the most indebted households in the world, and tenants are spending a record share of their incomes on rents. So, and one of the reasons why our housing market has become so unaffordable and rents are so expensive is that we've grown our population excessively via immigration over the last 20 years, and demand's far exceeded supply. So Australia's population has grown by about 8.5 million people this century, most of whom have gone to the major cities. This is the fastest percentage increase in the advanced world. And basically what it means is housing demand's grown so much faster than supply. And unfortunately, sadly, both the policies put forward by both major parties over the weekend are going to make the situation much worse.
All right, let's look at them. By the way, that immigration is not just a demand for more houses than we build, because they're all crowding into the main cities. The land price, the scarcity of land, makes the land itself also more expensive, so double whammy. First, the Labor's plan. Here's the Prime Minister.
Today I announced that under a Labor government, you'll be able to buy your first home with just a 5% deposit. Our 5% deposit plan will be open to every Australian looking to buy their first home. It will be available for homes valued all the way up to the average price in every city and region. And you won't have to pay a single dollar in mortgage insurance.
$1 billion to build 100,000 houses just for first home buyers. I worked out, Leith, that's only $100,000 per house. Good luck with that. Can a government build that many for that little, that fast, or should it even try?
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, I mean, let's take one of them at a time. The 5% deposit thing is a state-sponsored subprime mortgage scheme, let's be honest. And all it's going to do is it's going to pull more buyers into the market, which is going to boost demand and drive up home prices. It's going to make housing structurally less affordable because we're going to have more people chasing a given number of homes, and that's just going to lead to higher Australians carrying higher mortgages and higher prices, which is actually self-defeating from an affordability perspective. But on the $10 billion for 100,000 homes, Labor's policy is incredibly light on detail. So it's supposedly going to spend $10 billion to partner with developers and the industry to build 100,000 homes. Now, I think that's going to end up being a direct subsidy to developers, and that's just going to end up, this is why developers love this policy. They're definitely going to increase their prices and fatten their profits. But let's be honest here, Andrew, 100,000 is not going to buy much. The average cost of building a house in Australia, let alone the land, is $537,000. Then you've got to add hundreds of thousands of dollars, for the land on top of that. Apartments cost even more to build than houses. They're a little bit cheaper on land. But either way, 100,000 is not going to cover much here, Andrew.
Yes, and the rest of us have got to pay for it. And then those that aren't first home buyers don't want to buy those particular houses. They have to face higher prices for everything else because the market's being bid up. It's just extraordinary. Next to the Liberals' plan, it's to let first home buyers claim their mortgage interest repayments against their tax if they are building a new build home. That to me seems a little unfair on everyone else, but what do you make of that one?
Yeah, so the Coalition's housing policy is equally stupid, but in a different way. So the Coalition's policy, I'd argue, is better than Labor's in one respect. It's only going to apply to new homes, so it should at least boost supply a little bit, whereas Labor's 5% deposit scheme is mostly going to flow to established homes and just push up house prices. But the Coalition's policy is also worse from a budgetary perspective. So as you said earlier, the federal budget is projected to be in deficit for the next decade, and by making mortgage payments tax deductible, the Coalition's policy is going to effectively strip tax revenue out of the budget, which means that Australia is facing a bigger budget deficit. It's also regressive and inequitable because the more you earn, the bigger your tax break. So it's going to hand bigger tax breaks out to higher income earners. And the coalition actually estimated that if you're a buyer earning $120,000 a year with a $650,000 mortgage, you're going to save around $12,000 a year. Now that's $12,000 the budget is not going to get. So yeah, look, it's going to blow a hole in the budget.
Yeah,
and it's going to push up new home prices.
And effectively, everyone else has to subsidise that. Leith Van Onselen, thank you so much for casting light on something very gloomy.